We have with us in the studio today Mr. Garba Shehu, who is Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. And we also have with us Mr. Tahav Agerzua, who is a Special Advisor on Media and ICT to the Benue State Governor. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the background report we played began with the President's visit to Dapchi. He's been going around the country of late. Would you say that the President was able to reach successfully, condole successfully with the people and reassure them, when he visited Dapchi yesterday in Yobe State?
Oh, sure he did, because when he arrived into the hall, everyone was there, and the leader of the parents of the missing girls spoke. It was a very emotive, environment. In fact, he couldn't read through his speech because he broke down and cried. And almost everyone in the hall, the students and all, began to cry. The President spoke, and in the way and manner he spoke, I think he gave a lot of hope, to them. At the end he got cheers out of the hall, which is to say that he has raised their aspiration and hope that these girls will be brought back. So yes, the President has achieved what he set out to do.
Okay, that's a good one. You say it was emotive. I want to ask you if you experienced the same emotion a couple of days ago when the President visited Benue on a condolence visit to the people of Benue over the happenings there.
In Benue State, there was no condolence. The President didn't condole us. He didn't express any sympathy, but we appreciate that he was able to take his time, calm, and sit down for several hours to listen to the stakeholders. But he didn't mention any sympathies with the families, and I wish that, as my colleague has mentioned, I wish he had given us hope. We appreciate the visit, but he didn't comment on specific things that we wanted to be done.
What did you want him to say? I'm looking at my colleague took pains to transcribe some of the things that the President, if not all of the President's speech there, and he talked about how he's been worried about what has been going on in Benue and that he would not deliberately, let an injustice happen in Benue State. Wasn't that reassuring for you?
If you recall, on 30th May 2017, a group known as Mietiawa Kautahore held a press conference in Abuja and said the crisis in Benue was a struggle for the natural resources of the Benue Valley, that they will mobilize their kith and kin to come to Benue to resist the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law and occupy the land. So what is happening is an invasion and occupation of the land. So what we expected from the President first was to give us assurance that the invaders will be chased out. There are presently 170,000 displaced people in 8 camps across the state. That's a huge humanitarian crisis. We thought that the President would, because the leaders mentioned the situation to them, we thought that there could be some word that these people will be chased away and the people could return to their houses. We appreciate the visit, but we didn't get any hope.
Well, those are the words of the ICT Commissioner. He says that they did not get any hope. The President would say cut short his visit to Benue State because he was scheduled to visit a number of places. He was scheduled to visit one of the IDP camps. He was scheduled to visit a Torti, from what we also understand. Why didn't that happen on his visit to Benue?
Well, when the President sets out to go on a visit, just anywhere, usually a program is prepared before he takes off. This program is subject to review, minute by minute, hour after hour. Depending on circumstances, they would have usually what they call a recce team, well ahead, made up of security protocol and all of the officials, including media. They report to the headquarters. So there's a sense of how prepared, how well is the visit going to be. This is subject to review. So this is normal. So it's not as if there was any deliberate attempt to cut short, as you said.
I'm simply saying that's what it seemed like, because we did receive a schedule of the places that the president was supposed to touch. But we didn't see that he touched all of those places, did he?
Yeah, well, as I said, it is always subject to review. And the important thing is that he was there and all of the stakeholders were there. And I think to say that the president did not sympathize with Benue, did not give hope, it depends on what one wants to say. The purpose of the visit itself, as clearly stated from the beginning, was a sympathy visit and fact-finding. So the objective had been defined very clearly. Now, to have moved away from the question you raised, to bring in Kautal, Hore, whatever group there is, it's difficult to see how the president of Nigeria can be made to account for sentiments, sometimes extremist, by a population of 170 million people. There are good people in Nigeria, there are bad people, there are people who hold views that are extremist in all of our communities. But the thing then to do is, do you resort to ethnic cleansing? The president will be in breach of his oath of office, where he decides to say that all of the men, women of Fulani blood should vacate Benue State. That's ethnic cleansing.
So let me get this straight. Now, he says that in very specific terms, I've gone through a part of the president's speech, I don't know if it's all of it I have seen here, but nowhere did he say, I condole with the people of Benue. I'm really, really disheartened over what has happened in Benue State. He did also talk about this law. I mean, it was seen that constantly what we have heard the president say is that they have to learn to accommodate their brothers. The question will be, are we certain, of those who are perpetrating this violence? I mean, when we begin to see entire communities being sacked, the government made allusion to even their foodstuff, things that they had gathered in their barn, being eaten. Are these things being committed by brothers, or is this thing coming from the outside?
Well, again, all of these things will be said more competently by law enforcement officials. I don't have all of the facts as to who is responsible and why they are doing it. And this country has a constitution, has a legal system, there's a judicial process. No, nothing says in our constitution that it is only President Buhari sitting in Abuja who can charge to court somebody who vandalizes, somebody who kills. No. Benue has an attorney general, as does the federal government.